always do radio stuff. Sometimes we do TV stuff, which is pretty cool for us. So I am here with Seth Meyers. If you don't know who he is, what rock have you been under?
Yeah, you are unconnected.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Right.
We try and help him out here. So Seth, lead co-writer for SNL. He also is on SNL. I mean, you can't, if you have not seen him, then
you might not have a television.
Yeah.
Well, or you might be asleep by 11. That could also be it. Yeah.
And not only SNL, but you've got something very exciting.
That's right. I am hosting a brunch next Sunday. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
yeah. I heard I have great.
Yeah, no, I'm doing Late Night with Seth Meyers. I'm taking over for Jimmy on February 24th. So that's the next step.
That is very, very exciting.
It's really exciting, yeah. I never knew what I was going to do after SNL, and this is the thing that I feel like is the right thing to do after SNL.
It's a huge step to take.
Yeah,
SNL.
it's a big step. Doing multiple shows a week as opposed to just the one will be an interesting transition, but I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy to be staying in the building. 30 Rock's been a place where I've grown up these last 12 years, and I'm glad I don't have to take a new ID photo.
That's
yeah, it's a good
yeah,
one.
because they are so serious about those.
They're very serious, and I've got a good young 27-year-old Seth Meyers photo, and I want to keep that as long as I can.
You want to keep that one forever. That's like my driver's license photo. I try and just keep renewing it online so I don't have to take a picture every day.
Yeah, so you got a good one?
I look young in it. I don't know if I look good in it, but I look young in it.
You can take it.
That's what's important. So I was looking at some of your stuff online because I'm so connected.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw something about when you were a kid.
Well, I'm already nervous.
Oh, you should be. You had this story called Baked Potato Kids. Is
yes.
this true?
Yes. Well, it wasn't our story. My dad, our dad told us a story every night called the Baked Potato Kids. It was like a bedtime story. But my brother and I were the Baked Potato Kids.
Oh.
And then he would just tell stories where we would solve problems. And the villain in the Baked Potato Kids was Mr. Waste Food.
Oh.
Because that was you don't want to waste food.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found it so interesting because growing up when I was a kid, we had a story about a baked potato, but it was more like a monster story.
Oh no, in ours the baked potatoes were the heroes.
What is it with kids and baked potatoes?
Well, I think it's interesting just for us, because our thing with baked potatoes in our house, I'm glad this is becoming a potato-based. My brother and I would open up our baked potatoes, and then we take out all the potato, and then we put in whatever else was on the plate in the potato, and we'd eat it as a sandwich.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
It was great.
I need to try that.
Yeah, we were pretty happy about it. My dad used to say when we were kids he was going to start a restaurant, but that's what he did. And then I think we eventually figured out he wasn't going to start a restaurant.
Yeah.
Late 20s, I think I remember. When's this restaurant plan
Where's
coming?
the restaurant?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get this restaurant
This baked potato sandwich restaurant.
So aside from baked potatoes, whenever you're doing all of your writing and gathering all your material, obviously this is a question you get asked a lot. Where is this genius material coming from? Because it keeps people laughing.
Well, first of all, it's very fair of you to call it all genius. I don't think that's the case. But, at SNL, certainly, you're inspired by current events, you're inspired by who the host is. Sometimes, a cast member on the show will come in and go, hey, I just had this, I want to play a character who maybe has this sort of, affectation in the way they talk. And as a writer, maybe that inspires you to write something. And then sometimes just because it's SNL, you have a tiny seed of an idea and you realize it's one of the few places where you can sort of grow that seed out to a full idea and they'll just let you try it on television. So.
Do you ever see things like in your normal everyday life and you're like, oh, that would fit great for this person?
Yeah, of course. You're always, certainly our cast is always looking for famous people they look like. And the minute somebody does something, if a person all of a sudden is suddenly famous, you'll get a text from 5 people being I think I can do Ted Cruz.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, who is your favorite musical act that y'all have had on SNL?
Well, they've been so great. I mean, people like Rihanna are never not just thrilling to have because they're people like Rihanna, Kanye, Lady Gaga, people who come and just make a spectacle of it is really exciting. Because I think they understand that it's a special place to do a performance. In an age where you can see a lot of live music on television, I think that SNL is still a place where people can take a big risk with the way they make it look. For me personally, Wilco is my all-time favorite band, and when they finally did the show, that was a real accomplishment. Because I've been hounding the SNL music booker for 8 years.
Were you kind of nervous? Because you always have that one person that you're around all these people all the time, but there's still that one person that just you're excited and nervous to meet them.
That's for me, Bruce Springsteen. When Bruce Springsteen did the show, he was when I shook his hand, I felt like I was 12.
Yeah. I had that experience with George Strait.
Oh, okay.
Well, whenever he came for a rodeo.
Gotcha.
I was like...
That would be my wife. My wife loves George Strait. We're going to the Country Music Awards on Wednesday.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
That's, you know, people are like, what's it like being married? I'm like, when you're married, you have to go to the Country Music Awards.
I will be live tweeting the Country Music Awards. Shameless plug there. Yes, I will.
Okay, great. Well, maybe you'll see me. We're gonna be in the audience. So give me a nice live tweet.
I will. Oh, definitely.
I'm really excited, actually. I mean, all jokes aside, I knew nothing about country before I met my wife, and now I'm a pretty big fan.
Well, good. We love hearing stuff like that. And congratulations, by the way. You just got
Thank you.
married.
Yeah.
That is very fresh. September 1st,
First,
right?
yeah. Well done. Yeah.
And your dog Frisbee was in the wedding.
My dog Frisbee was in the wedding.
I saw that.
And I give Frisbee a B- for her job at the wedding.
B- is pretty good for a dog at a wedding.
We got married at a farm and there were some sheep there, so I couldn't be mad at her for barking at sheep. Like, you're asking too much of a dog.
Yeah. Oh, and such a little dog to take on some sheep.
I know, yeah.
That is brave. I love that.
I think it was more her telling us. She was barking to tell us, get me away from these sheep.
Okay.
I don't think she was looking for a fight.
She wasn't defending. Okay.
Right.
So you also do stand-up.
Yes.
Tell us, A, your best joke.
No,
B,
I'm not going to do that.
Your worst joke.
No. I feel like now my act is mostly good jokes. I mean, I've had times in my career where I've bombed, but they were more sort of earlier. I will say now the times where I will, like, bombing in quotes. I do a lot of charity events in New York where you're sort of like asked to come and do stand up for often the cause, a very like depressing cause.
Yes,
and
always.
It's a lot of people at like a table, you know, $20,000 a plate, and so there's a lot of like very wealthy people who are not used to stand-up comedians who've just been told about, you know, some terrible conditions in a third world country, and they're like, and now the comedy of Seth Meyers. So those, I will say, even my best jokes are my worst jokes those nights.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I could imagine there would be some kind of sticky people.
Yes. When you do the New York City charity circuit, you will run into some stiff people.
Speaking of charity type stuff, I saw that you won a poker tournament.
I did.
And you gave all of the money that you won towards...
Yes. I should, you're making me sound like incredibly kind. That was
that's the goal here.
You were supposed to give the money to charity. It wasn't like I won $100,000 and then I gave it to charity.
So
I was playing for the Jimmy Fund.
That still makes you a good guy.
No,
you still
it was.
play for it.
But I don't want to be overly altruistic. That they were like, "Here's your $100,000." I was like, "No, I want you to give this to
just
charity.
Give it to somebody for me, please do that."
But I was very happy to win on their behalf.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us a little bit more about. Do you have anything planned going into this new gig?
Well, we move into offices December 1st, so that's when our biggest planning will start. For us now, it's little things like picking logos. They're building a studio right next to SNL, which is fun. I mean, as far as our plans, you know, we want to have a monologue. We want to have writers who can be cast members who come on and play funny people, and that's sort of where we're at right now. But as far as specifics, I think we're still probably about a month out.
Well, that is very close.
Yes, it is very close.
It's getting down to crunch time.
Yeah.
Well, we are very excited for you.
Thank you very much.
And you guys, make sure to check Seth out whenever he starts his new gig in February. That's going to be Late Night with Seth Meyers.
And make sure to check out Connected K's live tweeting at the CMAs.
Yes.
And make sure you say something nice.
Of course. Bye.